All right, we live. How we doing, everybody? Good morning. Good morning. Welcome to this morning's pre-market prep session. Am I frozen? Are we good? Looks like I'm frozen on the screen. Somebody let me know if we're all good. Hopefully, I'm not frozen. YouTube, I've got no idea. If anybody can see this, let me know via Messenger whether or not I'm frozen. And if I'm not, I can keep it pushing. But it shows me here is frozen on the screen. So I want to make sure that we're still good. Let me see. Okay. All right, cool. Thank you. Thank you, Vivian. I appreciate it. So I guess it's just frozen on my computer. I'm completely fine with that, as long as it's good for you guys. So thank you for letting me know, Viv. I appreciate it. But good morning, everybody. Obviously YouTube on my end is having some issues, but as long as it's working for you guys, we can, keep it pushing. Vivian, good morning. Tage, good morning. Michelle, Andrea, Cheswick. That's a good morning. Oh, there we go. We just unfroze. Looking good. Good morning, everybody. Yes, yes, yes. GM. Okay, cool. Awesome. Yeah. Thank you. I appreciate it. Letting me know. And now, from now on, if we freeze again, I know that we're still in business. But yeah, happy to go into the important news, notes, analysis, trade ideas that'll be key to, continuing this good week. We have a week where the majority of the data and the important information that we're getting is coming in the latter half of the week. So Wednesday, Thursday, Friday is where we really want to be locked in. We've got important earnings this week with Tesla and Netflix, right? We've got some economic data that's coming out here this week as well. So a number of things that we kind of want to keep tabs on here as we go into the latter half of the week. Let me see. This is just my computer in general struggling here this morning. Only thing I'm waiting on for the MacBook, which I'm transitioning over to, is my HDMI cord so that I can hook that up to my larger monitor. But yeah, we might be on my last leg here with the OG computer, which is really sad because I absolutely love this machine. It was my dad's old computer. I still use it because I'm a sentimental person. I don't even think they make laptops this big anymore. Like, this laptop is huge. Like, it looks like a movie screen. And they probably stopped doing that because they could be registered as a weapon or something. But yeah, they don't even make them like this anymore. So it'll be sad to say goodbye, but nothing gold can stay, right, Pony Boy? So we're making that transition. But speaking of making a transition, we're going to transition into our top news this morning. As always, right, make sure you're putting your one in the chat, signifying your intention to get 1% better here by the end of this session. You can't come in and cut corners and say, okay, I'm going to reap the benefits without going through the process, right? There is a process of closing the gap between where you are and where you want to be. And 99% of it is mindset. It's not the trades you take. It's not the tickers that you trade. It's not what brokerage you use. It's not what tickers you trade, right? It's not what secondary indicators you use. It's going to be the mindset. You have to follow the correct steps. Make sure that you are stepping into the market arena each and every day, declaring your intention to get better so that the universe respects that and you act within that vein, right? So make sure that every time you press that one and you hit send, that is you putting that out to the universe that I'm bringing my best self to the market. I'm bringing myself that, will abide by the system that I have in place in order to win more often than I lose and win bigger than I lose, right? I commit myself to execution. I commit myself to conviction, right? All of that, it's important, right? It's super, super important because then you go on the market, you say, oh, I don't know why I'm scared to do this. I don't know why I'm scared to do that. You never made a solemn decision to yourself, right? Before the market started, I'm going to execute, right? And that's what that one represents. So make sure you're doing it. Make sure you do it with feeling. Again, that you're doing it with intention, with conviction, and that way you can still operate in the market, with that same intensity. So in terms of our top news today, yields surge. Treasuries sold off sharply early Tuesday after September retail sales figures came in much stronger than expected, while Wall Street's major averages ended near the flat line. The 10-year Treasury yield jumped to as high as 4.84% on Tuesday, while the 2-year yield rose to 5.22%. Now, digging deeper, retail sales in September rose 0.7% month over month to $704.9 billion, compared with the 0.3% increase expected, while core retail sales increased 0.6%. The auto dealers category showed a 6.3% year-over-year increase and a positive read-through for retailers, including CarMax, ticker KMX, and Carvana, ticker CVNA. The health and personal stores category, which includes companies like Walgreens Boots Alliance, ticker WBA, and Elf Beauty, ticker ELF, powered 8.3% higher year over year. The category that includes Walmart, Target, and Costco showed a 2% year-over-year increase. Now, in terms of market views, the September retail sales growth rose slightly more than the rate of inflation, breaking a recent trend. Bank rate analyst Ted Rossman said, although he still expects a lukewarm holiday season, he said that although he still expects a lukewarm holiday season. Meanwhile, expectations of a more hawkish Federal Reserve grew as the odds of the FOMC maintaining rates at its December meeting fell to 55%. Quote, markets are not waiting to hear from Fed officials, Alliance advisor Mohamed El-Arian tweeted. He said the yield moves were likely a result of growing economic uncertainty, substantial fiscal deficits, and a, quote, genuine doubt about who will readily absorb the additional supply of government debt associated with high deficits. So in terms of seeking alpha commentary, resilient consumer spending reinforces the view that the U.S. economy likely expanded at a 4% annualized rate in Q3, according to ING Economic and Financial Analysis. While Fed officials may be coalescing around the view that further rate hikes may not be needed, the prospect of rate cuts in this far-off future in the yield curve needs to continue repricing for that, they said. Meanwhile, Seeking Alpha analyst James Paserno noted that statistical odds look increasingly favorable for guesstimating that a yield peak is near, which suggests it's timely to lift allocations to bonds. So a whole lot of like just dense bond talk, this and that, treasury yield talk, et cetera, et cetera. In terms of energy news, war intensifies. Crude oil futures rose after hundreds of Palestinians were killed in a blast at a Gaza hospital on Tuesday, which rekindled fears of oil supply disruptions in the region. Palestinians have blamed an Israeli airstrike for the blast, while Israel blamed a failed rocket launch by Islamic Jihad. As a result, Jordan canceled a summit it was scheduled to host today with U.S. President Joe Biden and Egyptian and Palestinian leaders. Even so, Biden arrived in Israel to meet Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and the country's war cabinet to understand their plans and objectives. The tragedy in Gaza and the resulting diplomatic setback pushed oil prices higher, with the front month November WTI crude and December Brent crude up more than 2% each. Now, in terms of those tickers and taking advantage of that, oil is something that we haven't checked out in a bit, right? If I go in, and I kind of don't even want to take the time to look on there and check it out right now. Maybe I'll check on mobile really quickly, since my computer wants to be slow and difficult this morning. I don't want to risk going on there and booting Thinkorswim up along with it. I feel like that might definitely make the live stream struggle. So let's check out what we got going on here on XLE. XLE is just an ETF for the energy sector, right? So we can go in and check and see how that's doing. What are we looking like on the daily? On the daily, not really seeing anything too enticing, right? Too important. Looks like we might be testing daily downtrend resistance here yesterday, which is significant. On the hourly, right, had a nice little cup and handle that fired on the hourly, but that was a number of sessions ago. We likely already reached our upper price targets. Yeah, I'd have to look a little bit closer here to see if there was any type of opportunity. But since we last shorted oil, I haven't really been super concerned with it. It hasn't really screamed opportunity. And, with the conflict that's going on right now between Israel and Palestine and, this whole Israel-Gaza conflict, there is the chance, right, that escalations in the conflict can cause increases in oil prices. I think if we look here on the weekly, let me see here. That was based off of news. Now, still not seeing anything super important. So when I actually have Thinkorswim that's up and running, I feel like maybe taking a look at, after I get off here, taking a look at some energy tickers, we can see if there's anything interesting, but nothing so far, right, in terms of when I immediately check. That screams out to me in terms of opportunity. But that's just a sector that you have to understand that if you are trading it, there are existential factors here that can impact the trade. And that's the biggest thing with trading, right? You always hear me talk about expectations. More often than not, expectations will determine everything, right? The mismatch in expectations is what causes moves in the market. One side expects something and then something else actually happens. So if you are in oil and energy trades, just beware that, especially if you're to the short side, any explosion that happens or something that disrupts the supply chain can end up, causing energy to push. So just be aware of that from a, responsibility standpoint moving forward. Now, in terms of AI news, AI factories, Foxconn, the world's largest contract electronics maker, and NVIDIA will join hands to build artificial intelligence factories for various applications, including self-driving cars. At a Foxconn event in Taipei, NVIDIA CEO Jensen Huang said, let me see here. Okay. All right, let's go ahead and just run that back because I glitched out and it messed up my flow. So AI factories, right? This is another big important piece of news here. AI factories, Foxconn, the world's largest contract electronics maker, and NVIDIA will join hands to build artificial intelligence factories for various applications, including self-driving cars. At a Foxconn event in Taipei, NVIDIA CEO Jensen Huang said these AI factories or large data centers will be used for training autonomous vehicles, language-based generative AI, and robotics platforms. Foxconn, formerly known as Hon Hai Precision, will use NVIDIA's latest chip, including the GH200 super chip that it is not allowed to sell in China, and software to build these data centers. The announcement comes a day after the U.S. unveiled the new chip export curbs. So it seems like NVIDIA is trying to drop news in order to combat the negative news. They came out immediately after that news dropped and said that those curbs don't have any immediate term effect on NVIDIA anyways. And now they're dropping, this more so positive news to further counteract it. So for you guys that don't know, Foxconn, when we talk about the world's largest contract electronics maker, they're one of Apple's biggest suppliers, right? And Apple had trouble when they were having the revolt going on at the Foxconn factories. Apple has been moving a lot of their business out of China, moving away from Foxconn, moving to India. So this could be really a good second chance for Foxconn as well, kind of drumming up some more business when you have a lot that's leaving the area with NVIDIA, penciling this deal with them. So important update on the AI space there, that now we're having AI factories, right? Very important factor as we look to the future and the pivotal role that AI will play. Now, in terms of automotive news, plans delayed. General Motors confirmed that it will delay the opening of its second electric truck plant in Michigan by a year. The Detroit automaker pushed back the conversion of its Orion assembly plant to, quote, better manage capital investment with evolving electric vehicle demand. Quote, we also identified engineering improvements that we will implement to increase the profitability of our products, the company said in a statement. Some analysts believe Rivian Automotive, ticker RIVN, can capitalize on the struggles faced by automakers in the electric truck industry. The ongoing Detroit strike is expected to slow down the electric truck production timeline for GM and Ford, while Tesla has still not set a launch event date for its Cybertruck. Who knows? It might be one of those things that never ends up launching. In terms of today's markets, in Asia, Japan were flat, Hong Kong were down 0.2, China down 0.8, India down 0.8, London were down 0.7, Paris down 0.6, Frankfurt down 0.7, the Dow down 0.3, S&P down 0.5, NASDAQ down 0.6. We're not surprised on any of that there. Crude oil up 3%, gold up 1.1, Bitcoin down 0.5%. In terms of today's economic calendar, let's see, 8:30 a.m. we got housing starts and permits. So we've got a number of members of the Fed speaking today. At noon, we have Waller speaking on economic outlook, 12:30, Williams, 1, Bowman, Harker at 3:15. So we've got a number of members of the Fed that are speaking here today. That could cause some intraday volatility, right? Depending on what they say, what they mention. Is it something that, I'm expecting to have the effect of like when Powell speaks? Absolutely not. But is it something to have, in the background? Yeah, for sure, right? Have the Walter Bloomberg, tweet stream going just to make sure that no one says anything wild that could send the market, on crazy movement. And if we do have some crazy jerk movement with the market, make sure you go and check the comments that are being made by these Fed members. So in terms of what else is happening, we'll finish up here with our rapid fire stock news rundown. Tesla earnings preview, eyes on guidance, as well as Cybertruck update. So those are two pivotal points for Tesla's earnings, which they're unveiling soon. Microsoft nails $1 billion mega deal with Amazon for 365 cloud tools. Shell, ticker SHEL, inks 27-year LNG, liquid natural gas supply deals with Qatar for Netherlands. Netflix, ticker NFLX, subscriber growth, price hike in focus for Q3 earnings. Heyman Capital founder Kyle Bass, stop investing in Chinese stocks. United Airlines, ticker UAL, slides 4% as Israel and fuel prices weigh on outlook. VMware, ticker VMW, falls 8% amid China's review of Broadcom deal. U.S. Bank Corp, ticker USB, spikes as Fed exempts bank from Category 2 rules. Sculptor Capitals, ticker SCU, founding partner sue hedge fund. Rhythm, ticker RITM. Netlist plunges after appealing ruling in Samsung fight. So that'll wrap us up and put a bow on it this morning for the pre-market prep session of October 18th, 2023. As always, let's make sure that we get 1% better, put our best foot forward today. Keep on the lookout for that free education dropping daily on Reels. Make sure that you like that, comment it, send it to your friends, because friends don't let friends stay broke, right? You always want to make sure that we are exposing other people to the rampant opportunity available in markets, so that way they're available, and aware of the tools that allow those inside of the white picket fence to continue to live a cushy life, right, regardless of economic circumstances. They do that because not only is their money employed, but their money it has a lot of different skill sets, right? It's working its way through real estate, working its way through all these different asset classes, right? Stocks, stock options. You got to be versatile in this day and time when everything is changing. We're now churning out AI factories. It's a different day, right? It's a different day. You have to come with a different mindset and execute in a different way. And that's what this community is looking to do each and every time that we convene. So without further ado, everybody have a great rest of your day. I'll see you back here tomorrow morning for our next pre-market prep session. Have a good one.